Moin und G'day to Aktuell im Interview. I'm here today with Eddie Jim, a photographer for The Age in Australia, who's one of the regional winners of the World Press Photo Contest. Thanks for being here with us today.
It's okay, my pleasure. It's such a beautiful town.
I know you've heard this question quite a few times now, but your winning photo, which is right behind us, it's called Fighting, Not Sinking. Can you take us on the journey of you taking this photo?
So this trip to Fiji was an assignment. So my photo editor wanted me to cover this with a journalist called Mickey Perkins in 2023. So I had to prepare for this overseas trip to get for example, the equipment or whatever that I need along the trip, and then we were invited by the Greenpeace Australia. So we traveled from Melbourne to Port Silver in Fiji and get on to Rainbow Warrior and sail from Port Silver to Kiowa Island. When we arrived on the island, we were with some Greenpeace Australia staff because they were there to cover like a conference, a declaration to people from a few Pacific regions, politicians, activists. They came together to attend a conference how to fight against climate change, because it's a big issue, it's a big problems for them. So we were there to report on the seminar. Mickey, she's a journalist. She need to find stories. She need to talk to people, and my job was to photograph whatever happens on the island and try to look for what we call a hero shot, which means a main picture, one single image can illustrate the whole story. Yes. So it's not an easy task, because we need to think what we can do or what I can photograph and who to photograph and when to photograph. There's sort of questions. So after a couple of days on the island, by chance we spoke to Lotoma Fia, which is the elder in the photo. Mm-hmm. And he was well spoken, and he kindly agreed to the interview, to the request, and then we did the interview at his home, which is above the Salia Bay, on the island, on a hill, so which overlooked the bay, and we did the interview, conducted the interview at his home, and I sat there through the interview. And when he mentioned to us that he was born on the island, and he saw all the changes throughout all these 70-something years, and he told us that the shoreline used to be where that mangrove, that little patch of greens, a little island, I can say, on the right-hand side of the photo, that shoreline used to be when he was really young, which means compared to now, it's like 40 meters out from the existing one. So I thought that could be a good location to photograph them. So then I asked him if I can take some photos of them in the water, of him in the water. Yes. And he kindly agreed, but he asked if he can bring along with his grandson John. I said yes, of course, because he was worried about the future generations.
Okay, so that was the reason behind that.
Yes, so okay. It's not just he wanted to have his grandson with him, but he was purely just worried about the climate crisis will affect on the future generations more than to him. So on the next morning, we went to the beach before sunrise, and we took some photos in the water in that location or position. And after 10 or 15 minutes, we finished it, and I went back to the room and had a look of the images on my laptop. It was okay, but it wasn't great because the sky was grey. It was overcast day, and the water was a bit wavy. But the picture was okay, but not quite the image that in my mind that I wanted to get in Fiji, because in Fiji people would think, it's a great place for holidays, water is clear, the sun is bright and warm and everything, but the image that I took on that day, it wasn't something like that.
You weren't satisfied and you tried the next day, or?
Yes, I did ask them if I may do it again on the next day. Hopefully the weather may change or I can get better pictures. There's only like a bet. The next morning, I got to the beach a bit earlier than they did. So I was there by myself and looked at the water, and something was quite unique and special, because I noticed that the water in that morning was like flat, like a mirror. It's very unusual for a Pacific Ocean water. It's that flat. It's very rare, I must say. So I thought that could be a good day to take more photos. And when they arrived, I put them into the same position that he indicated that the shoreline used to be. So I started to take photos, and then the sun had risen up from the hills on my left-hand side, and the sunlight shined on the water and then reflected onto the faces. And that's, to me, it's like a very magical moment, because it's just more like an artificial setup light, photographic flash, than natural light, because you rarely see something like that after 10-15 minutes. And I thought, I've got the shot. Then I went back to the room again, work on the laptop, and looks a lot better the second time. So that is the image that I have it right now.
So the moment of realizing that you took such a moving photo, whether it was now in the water or while editing, which impressions did you have? Like happiness because the photo turned out great, or well, we definitely have a big problem on our planet?
It was a relief for me after I took these photos, because for such a rare opportunity to cover a job or assignment overseas, I always need to provide some decent images to the paper, to my company. And I did not have any idea what I was going to do for that, what we call hero shot, the main picture for the story. So after I took this, I thought that could be a good one to use. A very decent photo to be used to illustrate the story. And not just that, because when I took the photos in the water, the elder asked me if I could tell the story to the outside world on behalf of his and his community, because it's such a remote island, they have no connections to the outside world. So he was hoping that through my image or images, then more people will read on the story and get to know what they are facing because of climate change, or climate change affecting them on the islands.
And after the whole trip, which thoughts and feelings or memories will last in your head when you have to think about all these situations you've had on Fiji and all the people you've met?
Well, first of all, that was the first time I went to Fiji. The impression was like the people are really friendly. They are like very kind, friendly giants. The islanders are like really big, massive. They are like they look like rugby players, a lot of them. But they are very, very gentle, very kind. and they sing a lot. They sing and dance a lot, and they do a really good job. I really enjoy my time on the island. I feel like we were so welcomed on the island. It was like going back home on the island. We had a great time, and hopefully my images and Mickey Perkins' story can help them or help people to understand a bit more about climate crisis affecting the island. This is only one of the islands affecting by the climate change. Hopefully one day people will get to know more about the Pacific region, what they are facing, what they need, and with the help of some developed countries, they can do better. They can have build better homes or barriers along the shoreline to avoid from the waves and water rises, the sort of big problems.
So, in a few short sentences, what would be your wishes in case of exhibition visitors watching Fighting Not Sinking?
Well, I'm only a photographer, so I can only take photos and show it to people. I can only do so much, but with the help of the World Press Photo Foundation and something like Media Avanti to show this image or all these images here, to help people to attract more audience, a much wider audience, to understand this topic and pay attention to this topic. Because for people like you and I living in a city, some big cities, we are away from these sort of situations. We rarely pay attention to it. But by understanding more about what's behind all these images, hopefully one day people can join up and fight against this climate crisis altogether.
Okay, and what would you say changed for you in particular after publishing your piece of art and winning this award?
Well, to me, to be honest, I'm still the same. I feel the same. Like I love to work on a lot more projects like that if I have the opportunity. So, of course, a lot more people know my name by now, and I'm hoping people don't pay just attention to the images, to the stories as well. Like photographers, of course, we like to do beautiful images or great images or impactful images, but by working just alone, we can't do much. We need help from bigger organizations and to show or display all these great images around the world, and we get much bigger, wider audience at the end.
Yeah, that's it with Aktuell im Interview. I'm changing to German right now. Dieses Foto, was Sie jetzt sehen von Eddie Jim, das hängt in der World Press Fotoausstellung, die wir hier im Schloss haben. Also die Daten des Ganzen, die blenden wir unten einmal für Sie hier unten ein. Dann können Sie sich die Fotos gerne selber einmal anschauen. Und ja, vielen Dank fürs Einschalten.